What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Friday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and this podcast being brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. Well, last night was frustrating. The teaser should have hit. Really, the only way we lose the teaser is if Seattle gives up a stupid 76-yard run to San Francisco, which is exactly what happened. That was frustrating. We hit both of our prop bets last night, so that makes up for it. We go 1-1. We get the JMU minus 9.5 easily, but Coastal got housed in their game last night. 39-7. So we don't go over 60.5. I thought Coastal would score at least 20 points. They didn't score anywhere close to that. They scored 7. JMU wins the game easily, so we go 1-1 there, down 0.1. The teaser misses because the over comes in, but Seattle loses the game by 12 instead of losing it by 9.5. We should have gotten there, but fluky things happen, and so we lose 1.2. We win a unit back with Purdy over 1.5 touchdowns and Kenneth Walker over 21.5 yards receiving. We bet a half a unit on both those plays, so we won a unit there, lost 1.2. Won a unit, lost 1.1, 3-2 day, down 0.3 units on the day. So just a paper cut, but it's been a rough week, not a good week. We're down 3.7 units on the week. So we're down for the week, but we've been here before. We've been down before, and we've been able to rally, and we've been able to have a good week. Now, this is how the gambling gods work. So we have a plus 215 bet on the Lynx to win the WNBA championship. You guys, if you bet it in the morning, you're up. You had a 2.4. You had one unit to win on a plus 240 bet. That number ran. It was all Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Everybody betting Liberty. Did you see what happened last night? The Lynx were down 18 points in game one. They came back and they won the game in overtime. Now, Liberty even money. Liberty even money. I will tell you what I am doing with that bet because we cannot lose if we play this properly. It's either a nice win or a win, one or the other. So we will come up with that here for us on this edition for this podcast, because they don't play again until Sunday, but I'll give it to you anyway. I have a bet going tonight already with UNLV minus 18.5. I will give you one more play here for tonight on Friday. I've got our first two bets as well for Saturday because I want to hop in. I like the number. I don't want to see it get bought back down. So we're going to buy it right now on our Friday night heading into Saturday. It also lessens what the card will be on Saturday, because the card on Saturday is going to be my biggest card of the year officially in 2024. We have been waiting for this weekend forever, since June. This weekend is going to be incredible with Ohio State at Oregon, Penn State at USC, Minnesota at UCLA, Cal at Pitt. I mean, there's just so many good games to talk about, so many big moments to get into. But before we do that tonight and give you three more college football plays in a way to get after the WNBA championship series now that the Lynx are up 1-0, let's tell you about our friends at DraftKings. Go and download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the code JUICE. That's code JUICE for new Pick 6 customers. Play $5 to win $50 in Pick 6 credits, guaranteed. If you guys haven't done this, we'll take a look at some stuff during the upcoming weekend. I'll probably get involved with it on Sunday. I'll give you a Pick 6 on Sunday. They had asked me to do it on Friday, but I think it's better to do it on Sunday. Just take a look at one of the slates and throw together a Pick 6 play that you guys can get into coming up on Sunday. So we will do that on this weekend. We'll get into that. I don't know exactly what I'll play just about yet, but we will definitely go ahead and do that in the coming days. So looking forward to doing all of that. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. In Connecticut, must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo. All right, so we talked about UNLV minus 18.5 tonight against Utah. That number is now up to 19.5 for UNLV. So we have some CLV there, 18.5. We have a point of CLV there going on. So I like that. I think UNLV wins. If you want something extra in that game, I think the under is a good play. I don't think Utah State's going to score tonight. The total is 66.5. I don't know if UNLV scores 50, but I'm not sure Utah State scores more than 10 to 17 points in this game. So, I mean, if UNLV wins 40 to 17, we're good. We cover this number. And so, to me, I think the under is a good play as well if you want some extra stuff in it. It opened up at 64.5. It's all the way up to 66.5. I think you can play it. I played it under 66.5. You want some extra? That's an extra play tonight for UNLV at Utah State to play the under 66.5. But I don't have anything on Northwestern in Maryland yet. If I make a decision on that number is all the way up to 11 for Maryland. Northwestern's bad, but I don't like Maryland. We faded Maryland this year as well at home on a Friday night. I don't know if I want to be laying double digits here, and I don't want to take Northwestern. So I got nothing on the Northwestern Maryland game, but Utah and Arizona State, I do. Number is 5.5. Some books are already at 6. Cam Rising is back. All right. Cam Rising being back is huge. I know Kyle Whittingham wasn't completely forthcoming with this about whether or not he's going to play coming off of the laceration on his hand. He's missed 3 weeks. I think he's going to play. I think he is going to be in there under center. That's why the number is at 6 at certain places. This is a good stat for Utah State. For Utah, coming off of a bye. Utah and Kyle Whittingham coming off of a bye. They are 18-9 straight up in road games, coming off of extended rest. And they've won 4 games in a row in this situation, dating back to 2021. That's according to the Action Network. Utah is 14-7 straight up in this spot when its opponent also isn't on the same number of rest. And Arizona State is not. They played last week. So I like Utah to go to Arizona State here and win the football game. Arizona State is 4-1 straight up. Arizona State is 4-1 against the number as well. They beat Wyoming and covered. They beat Mississippi State and covered. They beat Texas State and covered. They beat Kansas and covered. We were on them against Kansas last week. They lost to Texas Tech 30-22 as 4-point dogs. They did not cover. For Utah, playing with a backup quarterback last couple of games, you have a 4-1 record for Utah State. For Utah. I keep saying Utah State. That's Friday night. That's UNLV. Utah. 49-0 against South Utah, 23-12 win against Baylor. They didn't cover. They were laying 15 in that game, but that's when Rising got hurt. They beat Utah State 38-21. They were laying 19.5 points. Didn't do that. Oklahoma State last week, they win the game 22-19. That was a pick, so they did win and cover in that one. I'm really excited just to see what this looks like here with Cam Rising back under center, because Isaac Wilson, who is the brother of Zach Wilson, he looks like he could be a player, but he's a freshman, and he threw a bunch of picks, hasn't been great, and getting Cam Rising back, I think, is gigantic. Utah's got everything right in front of them still, okay? I mean, everything is right there, and their defense is seriously legit. So you get the quarterback back, and, I mean, most people believe that Utah is the best team in the Big 12, okay? Iowa State might be 5-0, but Utah on paper is the best team in the Big 12. They're 4-1. You know, they have a chance. Their one loss came last week. I skipped that, sorry. They lost last week to Arizona, 23-10. Wilson played horribly in that game. He was really bad. Lost that game at home, 23-10 to Arizona. Now this game's on the road. That was for the bye week, and now they're back with Cam Rising. Give me Utah. I'm going to lay it with Utah, minus 5.5 for the Utes here. I think it's good all the way up to 6.5. I wouldn't bet it at 7, but I think you're good under a touchdown here for Utah to go on the road and beat Arizona State with Cam Rising. If Cam Rising is scratched, no. Okay? No. I'm not playing this. I'll punt out of it. But the number tells me that Cam Rising is playing. Cam Rising at quarterback for Utah will lay 5.5. Utah minus 5.5 for 1.1 units. Okay, so 2 bets officially going tonight. UNLV on the road laying 18.5 against Utah State, and Utah on the road laying 5.5 against Arizona State. Both those plays for 1.1 units. Now, let's go to Saturday in our first plays for Saturday. Iowa State at West Virginia. The number has climbed to 3.5. Now I'm firing. West Virginia money line. You need to play it. We'll take the points officially, okay? We'll take the points officially. I get it that Garrett Green, we got some questions about his shoulder. He got it banged up against Oklahoma State. But this is a running attack for the Mountaineers. They're going to run the football. They don't hurt themselves, and last week they did not turn the football over. This is a huge game for West Virginia. Just a massive, massive game. You have home field. West Virginia can win this game, and if they win this game, there's a lot there for West Virginia. Iowa State, we are on their win total over 7.5. They're 5-0. They're 5-0. And now they're going on the road as 3.5-point favorites. Look, I get it. The Cyclones have been very good on paper. They are a defense that does not give up big plays through the air. But you can run on them. You can run on them. And this is what I think West Virginia is going to do. They're going to run the football. They've done it the last couple of weeks here. This is a night game at West Virginia. This is a hard place to play. This is going to be a really pumped up West Virginia crew. I can't believe this number got off of 3 and went to 3.5. The second it went to 3.5, I'm all in on the home dog here for West Virginia. This game's on Fox. Morgantown's going to be jumping. I think West Virginia wins the game, but I'll take the 3.5 points. You should absolutely sprinkle on money line here for West Virginia. Iowa State hasn't turned the football over, but funky things happen when you go on the road at night. Look, I love Matt Campbell. I love what Iowa State has done. I think we're going to go over 7.5 wins for Iowa State here, but I think they've played a little bit above what they actually are. And if you look at where, who the wins have been for Iowa State, it's not that I'm unimpressed with what Iowa State has done this year. They're 5-0. But they had to rally to come from behind against Iowa. That's their best win, arguably. 20-19, we were on Iowa then. They beat Arkansas State. They beat Houston 20-0. Houston stinks. We know this. They beat Baylor 43-21. Baylor's not any good. I mean, they're 4-1 ATS. They're 5-0 straight up. They're on the road at West Virginia. They're laying 3.5 points. I think the wrong team is favored here. I'm going to take West Virginia plus 3.5, but sprinkle money line. I think the Mountaineers win the game outright on Saturday. They get the job done in Morgantown. Home dog for West Virginia. Give me Morgantown. Give me West Virginia plus 3.5. And then finally, one more play for you guys coming up here for today. And I think it's going to be fun to watch some of these games. Stanford up against a Notre Dame team that hasn't looked great this season. Really surprised at this number being 23.5. It was 24. It's now 23.5. I don't want it to go any lower than this just because I don't believe in Notre Dame. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe the Irish are going to just go ahead and put one on Stanford, but we backed Stanford on the road already up against Syracuse, and they went there and won the game outright. Notre Dame as a double-digit favorite at home against Stanford. It's been that way 7 times. The Irish are 4-3 straight up in those games. Straight up. Forget covering. They're 4-3 straight up as a double-digit home favorite against Stanford since 1990. They lost in 2022 back when they were double-digit favorites in that game. I mean, look, Marcus Freeman has been pretty good when they've had extra rest and had bye weeks. They're 6-1 straight up and 6-1 ATS off of a bye. 5-2 to the over in those games as well, but I'm not buying it. I just, maybe I'm totally off on this and I'm completely wrong, but I just can't get over this going like, wait a minute, is Notre Dame that much better Stanford is 2-3 on the year. They won outright at Syracuse as 9-point dogs. They got destroyed by Clemson. I understand that. Like, Clemson took them apart on the road, 40-14. They came back home. They got taken apart by Vatek, 31-7. But the Irish are going to win this game. Okay, they're going to win this game. But this is where like everyone has groupthink and they're like, oh, Notre Dame, look out. They're 2-3 against the number. Or I guess 2-1 against the number. They pushed last week against Louisville, 31-24. I was on Louisville, +7 in that game. We pushed on that. You know, they didn't cover against Miami of Ohio. They killed Purdue 66-7 after they lost to Northern Illinois outright. They beat Texas A&M in the first game of the year, but how good really is Texas A&M? I don't know. I've seen these rivalry games go really wonky. I think Notre Dame could be in for a really rough couple of weeks here against Stanford, Georgia Tech, and Navy. Then they play Army late in USC. I mean, these are not layup games for this Irish team. I'm taking the points. Give me Stanford plus 23.5 points for 1.1 units. And then finally, the Liberty are even money to win the WNBA championship. Some of you have plus 240. I have plus 215 on this, all right? 2.15 units to win. It's even money. I'm going to bet 1.1 units and kick my heels up and not care who wins the thing, okay? Cheer for the Lynx. Will win more money if the Lynx win, but I'm good with securing either 1 unit or 0.1 units, and I can't lose no matter who wins this thing. Can the Liberty win 3 games in a row? Absolutely. Did the Liberty choke? Absolutely. Up 18 and they lost. Should they win game 2? Absolutely. But if they don't, Lynx go home up 2-0. They win it in Minnesota and we win a unit. If they don't, if they choke, if the Lynx lose 3 of the next 4 games and they lose the title to the Liberty, so what? It doesn't matter. Let's see what happens in game 2. But for now, let's go ahead and put 1.1 units down on even money on the Liberty to win the series, guarantee profit, and work off of it. After game 2, let's see who wins. If it's 1-1, we'll take Minnesota to win game 3. If it's 0-2, we might come back and take the Liberty even more. I don't know. We'll see how we play it out. But for right now, let's just guarantee and lock up profit and not have to worry about it. Liberty to win the series at even money, 1.1 units down. More than a unit, 1.1, okay? So we'll cover the 1 unit on the other side for the plus 215 bet, either 0.1 or we win 1.05 if the Lynx win the WNBA championship. Can't lose. So the plays officially for us here today on a Friday. Friday night is UNLV laying 18.5 and Utah laying 5.5. Those are the 2 plays on Friday. On Saturday, West Virginia plus 3.5 at home against Iowa State. And Stanford plus 23.5 on the road at Notre Dame. Liberty for the series. By the way, they don't play again until Sunday. They play Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday. They are really spacing it out here for the WNBA championship. I don't really get it, but I guess it's availability for the arenas and whatnot. But Liberty to win the series, even money, a hedge off of the. If you didn't play the first bet, don't play this. Okay, don't play this. If you don't have a Lynx ticket at plus 215, or plus 240, don't play the Liberty bet. Okay, this is simply only if you played the plus 240 to plus 215 bet on the Lynx to win the series. Then come back and play this as well. Otherwise, don't play either one. Okay? My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast presented by DraftKings.